Well, for more on that story, I'm joined in the studio by our Middle East expert, Dr. Saul Zadka. In the last few minutes, really, Shiite Houthi rebels, looks like they haven't boarded that plane to Geneva. This is the first substantial talks really to take place since the conflict began years ago. Is it going to happen at all now?
Well, earlier today I said it would be a miracle that this delegation would meet. This would be the greatest achievement since the war started more than 11 weeks ago. And now the Shiite rebels have not boarded the plane in Sana'a. However, they can board it maybe tomorrow, after tomorrow. Bear in mind what happened yesterday. The Saudi air bombing targeted the old city of Sana'a, destroying centuries-old buildings and killing a few people. The Saudis denied. They said we're not responsible for this air campaign. It was not their own bombing. It could be that an ammunition depot has been ignited within the old city of the capital. However, everybody thinks that it could not be anybody but the Saudis. And they targeted, as far as I know, the former president of Yemen, Ali Abdullah Saleh, and his brother and his cousin. They all live in the same area where the explosion took place. And I think that this is exactly what happened. They wanted to target the family of the former president, who is allied with the Shiite Houthis. And I think the Houthis have decided not to board the plane because they wanted to express their anger at what happened yesterday in Sana'a. However, they are saying that they don't want to participate in this kind of negotiation because of the layout, because it is created in a way that the delegations are not on equal footing. There is one legitimate government represented by the exiled president, Mansour Hadi, and the rebels who stage a coup, the Shias themselves. They don't want to approach the negotiation table under such terms.
Yeah, they almost don't think they're equal, do they? They think it's strange that they're given sort of equal footing. Is the suspicion then that Saudi Arabia have sort of sabotaged these talks by that bombing, if indeed that
the Saudis are keen to push forward with these talks. They would not be involved, of course, in the talks themselves. They would be behind the scene. They would influence the government in exile, of course. The Iranians who back the Houthis would not be in the talks either. This is designed by the United Nations as a purely Yemenite negotiation. However, they would not sit in the same room. They would not sit around the same table. They will talk to each other only through the United Nations envoy, who is doing an utmost effort in order to bring the sides closer. So if the Houthis decide tomorrow, for instance, to board the airplane because the terms of the negotiation would be changed to their satisfaction, even then, if they start talking to each other on Monday, they would not face each other, and they will talk about preliminary talks, about technicalities, about anything else. It is to do also with the fact that the exiled Yemenite president, Abdel Rabbo Mansour Hadi, wants to limit the scope of the negotiation because he wants to set a precondition under which the Houthis would pull back from the main cities like the port city of Aden and also the capital Sana'a. Otherwise, he would not approach the talks and discuss the broader issue of an eventual peace solution for Yemen.
Is another reason that maybe these Houthi leaders have not got on the plane and currently don't look like they're going? Could it be something of surrounding, they've been complaining about a lack of clarity in terms of who was going to be attending these talks?
Yes, they complain about lack of clarity. They said they're not exactly sure what is the procedure of the negotiation. They are afraid that they would be pushed into the corner in which everybody would ask them to withdraw without getting anything in exchange. However, the Houthis are in no way rushing to the negotiation table because they have control most of Yemen. They control Taiz, the third largest city of the country. They have Aden, the very important port city. They have Sana'a, the capital, for more than half a year already. Most of the territories are under their control. The Saudi-led bombing, despite the fact that so many Arab countries are members of this coalition, does not work. They continue to make more and more territorial gains, and also the Saudis lose popularity in Yemen, even among the Sunnis, because of the high level of casualties.
And the bombing campaign has continued despite that announcement a few weeks ago that it it was now a new operation, that the sort of bombing campaign was coming to a close. It clearly shows, as you say, that the Houthi rebels are controlling large parts, that they're continuing this bombing campaign. Ultimately, is the sticking point the fact that Abdurrabbu Mansur Hadi is insisting that the Houthi rebels pull back, and that's never going to happen?
It's not going to happen. And not only that, we saw before his deputy, Khaled Baha, apparently there are some kind of divisions and cracks within the government in exile. Khaled Baha is more acceptable to the Houthis. He is now the vice president. He thinks that he has to be the president. And Mansur Hadi should be sidelined. Mansur Hadi insists that he has to be reinstated as the president, and he also demands that the Saudis would create a kind of a zone in which he will have a foothold in Yemen, from which he will be able to continue the struggle against the Houthis. And this is something which may suggest that even under the heavy Saudi influence, the Yemeni delegation is not speaking in one voice.
The Iran, what kind of, imagining that these talks do indeed end up happening, what role would Iran play in these talks? Would it be behind the scenes?
They would be behind the scenes. I don't think that they would have influenced the Houthis not to board the plane, for example. I think that the Houthis have on their own agenda. They deny that they get any assistance from Iran except diplomatic support. The Iranians also equally deny supporting the Houthis. There are suggestions and plenty of reports that they supplied with the Houthis with weapons and not only with political support. And they would definitely be coordinating the forthcoming steps taken by the Houthis in Geneva, if and when such a negotiation will kick off.
Well, the talks are due to be held on Monday. We will probably see you on Monday to talk about whether they have happened, or, as will probably emerge, that they won't take place. But for now, Saul Zadka, thanks a lot for coming in.